Hello YouTubers, Hammy Technoid here, and today this is the beginning of a series I'm going to do on what I'm calling the realism. Okay, the realism series, and we are here today in the green screen man cave, you can see, and the realism is the what you are seeking when you have a big stereo setup or you have an audio file set up. You know, what you are seeking is the realism of the music you are playing back. Okay, so I have realistic goals in mind whenever I play music. I want the music to sound as real and live and as possible, you know. And there are three aspects to realism, I feel, that are very important to a stereo, okay? The one I'm going to talk about today is imaging. Okay, and then there's two others: frequency response and volume. Okay, so those are the three things I consider to be the most important for realism: imaging, frequency response, and volume. Okay, so today we're going to talk about imaging, and imaging is all about your speakers and your mainly your speakers. And you see I've got speakers there. That's in my left corner, and I got the woofer stack, the mid-range, and the Heil Air Motion tweeter, and on the right hand side I have the complement. Okay, the bass stack, the mid-range, and the tweeter. So what you do to get the imaging is you position the speakers to where you feel that they are producing the stage, the sound stage. You hear that word, that phrase bandied about, sound stage. I want to create the real sound stage. Well, you create the sound stage by placing your speakers where you feel that they're going to be the most beneficial to attaining that sound stage. And what you want to do is get the music played out on the sound stage. So, you know, if you got the bass guy on the right, you want him there. You got the lead guitar on the left, you want him there. You got the drummer in the center, you want him there, and the singer too, you know. So what I just described was like the lineup for The Who, okay? And what I like in my system, I like to be able to recreate a situation. And you get an album like The Who Live at Leeds. That is a good album. It is The Who at the top of their game. Back in the day, they were at the top of their game, right, straight off of the Woodstock tour and all that, you know. So they recorded the album Live at Leeds, and there are a lot of good live Who songs on that album. And what I like to do is I like to get my stereo so it's playing about 10th row back at a live concert, at a live Who concert, 10th row back. Okay, and I know you won't be able to hear it over the speakers from this little camera, but this is a phrase from one of the songs that's really awesome on that album. Okay, that's, I cut that off, so yeah, I'm not gonna get flagged by YouTube, but that song, I didn't have it playing at full volume, at stage volume, you know, 10th row back, because, you know, it's loud. You get it loud, but you see my power stack there. I got my amplifiers, I got my bass amp, my mid-range amp, and my high frequency amp. That power there will enable me to recreate 10th row back at a live Who concert. And that, you know, but the imaging, let's get back to the imaging. You got to stage it, okay? The speakers have to be in the right position to get the staging. So you want John Entwistle over on the left, and you want Pete Townsend over on the right, and you want Keith Moon and Roger Daltrey right in the middle where they are on stage, you know, simulating their positions on stage. So to do that, you set your speakers up right. You set left and right speakers, you know, you space them apart, and you time align them. It's another thing for imaging is time alignment. You've got to have the right time alignment. You got to have the mid-range and the woofer and the tweeter all aligned so that the sounds are arriving at the same time. You don't want them to be skewed. So there are several ways to do that. You can do that so that you can measure the voice coil distance so that they're all the same. You can get that alignment. Or you can do it electronically, with time delays and so forth. Me, I don't have electronics to do it, so I do it physically, by aligning the voice coils. But then there's those who can do it electronically, pseudo spatial imaging. And that's what one of the devices I have here in my rack does. It's the Kava C1, and I don't know if you can see the button there, but it says Sonic Hologram. Okay? Now, Sonic Hologram is something that Kava came out with in the late 70s that enabled you to spread the stereo image out electronically. It phase shifted and refed some of the signal back into the other channel, and you were getting an image enhancement. Okay, and then there was a company called Polk who came out with the SDA1 speaker set, which basically simulated what Kava did electronically, only they did it physically with their speakers, and I'm showing a picture of them now. And if you look, you can see that there are two distinct sets of speakers within the same cabinet, and on the back of the speaker there was a dual set of inputs, leads, that you would set the other set out of phase. So one set of speakers would be in phase, other set of speakers would be out of phase. And that would give you the same basic situation that the Kava Sonic Hologram was doing, but they were doing it with the speaker alignment rather than electronically. So this is part one of my realism series. I hope imaging helped you out. And the best way to get your imaging right is to move the speakers until you're happy with them. Until you're happy with the sound and you get the staging that you like. It's all subjective to the listener. There are rules. You put the left channel on the left and the right channel on the right, of course. But everything else is subjective to what you think. And so many people, I mean, you get 10 different people that have stereos, and you get 10 different opinions about how imaging should be. So it's up to you. It's totally up to you and your preference. So this is the end of part one on the imaging, and there will be part 2 and 3 on frequency response and volume. So thank you for watching, and until next time, later. See you later.